What's up guys, it's Don here. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at two tweaks that have the same goal, and that is to bring dark mode to web pages in any app. Both were released very closely, Deluminator being the first to be released and Nebula coming in the next day into the market. So what's the differences between these two tweaks besides pricing, and which one is the one you should be purchasing today? So before we get into the differences, let's take a look at some of the similarities these tweaks have. So the first one is both Deluminator and Nebula have a blacklist option to add a website in case if it's not being displayed properly. For Deluminator, you simply have to double tap on the screen with 2 fingers and you will get a window prompt asking you to add it to a blacklist or to simply cancel the action. For Nebula, you will have to go into the settings and add the website in manually down here at the bottom. The next thing they have in common is that both have a toggle feature to disable and enable the tweak. For Deluminator, this feature is coming soon, but you will have a CC toggle available to enable and disable this tweak when you like. For Nebula, you have a built-in toggle at the bottom right corner in the Safari browser. Sadly, you have no toggle support for Chrome nor Firefox. The third thing they have in common is both have dark UI options for the web browser. For Deluminator, you have the option to enable a dark mode UI on Safari only, and it is only for the iPhone as well. Box4 told me that he doesn't plan on adding support for other web browsers, and that's mostly because Apple only allows you to use Safari as their default web browser, and that pretty much makes sense. For Nebula, you also have this option, and it also has one for Chrome, which is a plus for Chrome users. Now, I'm unsure if this is supported on other devices or it's just for iPhone as well. The fourth thing they have in common is that both Deluminator and Nebula have an option for you to enable this tweak on WebView apps or apps that use a built-in web browser. For Deluminator, you have to go into the settings and in the enabled applications and select your app. For Nebula, it's quite the opposite. All the apps are enabled by default and you will have to go into disabled apps and toggle the app off. This is a huge annoyance because people have tons of apps installed and this tweak might not function properly for those apps. You will have to go and toggle them off one by one, and ain't nobody got time for that. One and last thing they have in common is battery efficiency. Deluminator alone came in at 5% of battery drainage when I left it overnight on a 100% phone charge. Nebula alone came in at 4% of battery drainage, 1% less, but I wouldn't consider it something huge. Now with that out of the way, what are the differences between these tweaks? One difference Nebula has is it provides you the option to change the background and text color, so you necessarily don't have to go for a dark mode theme, but you can try to match it with whatever theme you're going for, and this is something that Deluminator does not have. The last difference Nebula has is it has an option of disabling the tweak in the Springboard. This is extremely useful if the tweak conflicts with other tweaks. Zen HTML and Lock HTML are good examples. Although I never had any issues with Deluminator conflicting with tweaks, it does not have this option. Deluminator has quite a few differences. One being is it has another mode called inversion mode in case the default mode isn't working properly on some of your websites. I basically consider this like a smart invert but in a better way, as you can see here. Deluminator also provides a universal reader mode. To enable this, simply double tap with 2 fingers on the screen, and I'm going to show you an example on my Twitter app. So if we go into this article here, as you can see, it loads up black as well. But if I want to go into universal reader mode, double tap twice, select reader mode, and voila, you get your reader mode right there. Now it's not exactly the same as the Apple one, but it's better than nothing. Now to exit out, you just double tap again and exit reader mode. You also have apply with Noctis available. This is something that Nebula lacks, but basically it allows you to disable this tweak as well if you disable Noctis, and vice versa. If you enable it, this tweak is re-enabled again with Noctis. Deluminator has an option called View Original Page, which allows you to see the original page for that moment by doing the double tap gesture. It resets back to the dark mode if you refresh the page. I consider this something similar to the toggle option in Nebula. And now here's a little example. So if we go back into our Twitter and we look at our article that we clicked on, Let's say it didn't show properly and I want to see the original page. So if we double tap and we hit view original page, we do have our original page like it should be. Now this resets back into dark mode if you refresh. So if we go up here and hit refresh, it sets back into our dark mode, which is something nice. And I guess you consider it a easy toggle to turn on and off the tweak on a website. Well, the last difference that Deluminator has is it basically allows you to report a website via the double tap gesture, where Nebula requires you to go to a website. This is very useful because it provides real good support. An example is if we go back into our Twitter article once again and double tap, you see we do have a report web page option. And that's pretty much it. When it comes down to the conclusion, it's quite obvious these tweaks are quite similar, but the Deluminator has more features. So how do these tweaks perform putting features aside? Well, the Deluminator performs amazing and well. For Nebula, it's quite very buggy. The first issue Nebula has, it loads the white first, then it applies dark mode color or whatever color you picked. It's basically a small flicker you see and it's quite annoying. Nebula also falls behind with some websites looking absolutely broken or the colors being inverted quite bad. A few more issues are that the blacklist option for Nebula doesn't work at all. Web pages sometimes don't load at all, which I have encountered mostly on Twitter, opening links via the in-app browser Twitter provides. For Deluminator, honestly, I couldn't find any issues with it. And at the end of the day, I would recommend it to you guys, even though it does have a higher price tag at $2.80, where Nebula is $2, but has many issues and needs much improvement. And that's pretty much it for this comparison video, guys. I hope I helped you out decide which one is the one that you're going to purchase. But yeah, like the video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, you already know what to do. And if you'd like to see more of my YouTube jailbreak tweak videos, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.